I'm too Caribbean to fully be American, but I'm too American to fully be embraced as being Guyanese. I take a lot of pride in the culture. I take a lot of pride, and I'm very happy that my parents didn't shy away from it. I was born in Washington, D.C., raised throughout the whole DMV area. My mom is from Buxton, East Coast Demerara, and my dad was from New Amsterdam, Berbice.
You were born in the United States. What does being Guyanese mean to you when you lived in the United States?
Being Guyanese to me in the United States, honestly, it's a very interesting place to be, being born in America, because in the DMV, you have a lot of Guyanese people, but we're more spread out. Most times when people think of the U.S., they think New York, you might get a Miami, and those communities are more condensed, where everybody's just kind of like, it's a little Guyana, so you feel like you're in Guyana. But in the DMV, because we were so spread out, it's like I took pride in my culture because I was raised in it. But it also put me at this intersection of two cultures where it was like, I'm too Caribbean to fully be American, but I'm too American to fully be embraced as being Guyanese in a lot of instances, not all the time. But growing up in those areas, especially because most of my family friends and even school friends were of Caribbean descent or like West African descent and stuff, it was my identity. Whenever people would ask me, like, where are you from? I would say Guyana, because I already knew they're not asking which part of America. They're asking which part of the Caribbean or where else do you hail from, because you're clearly not, thoroughbred American. So I take a lot of pride in the culture. I take a lot of pride, and I'm very happy that my parents didn't shy away from it, even though they had bigger plans for me to even grow up here, like live here for a couple of years as a youth. But, they did their best, and you can't tell me I'm not Guyanese, period. So I love it.
Okay, I want to come back in like towards the end if we have enough time to talk about your Berbice roots. But for now, I'm going to keep the conversation moving. What led you to move back to Guyana?
That is one of my favorite questions to answer. So what led me to move back? It was a myriad of different things. Growing up, this was always a conversation in our household. Like, at some point, we will leave America. Like, we'll have something there, but we're not planting our roots here forever, type of thing. And so my dad actually passed away in 2024. And after he passed away, we really just started getting serious about the conversation, because for years, we always would say we're going to move in 2025. And this is why I always tell people your words have power. We would just say it in a passing conversation when I'm in middle school and high school. Yeah, in 2025, we're going to move. So when he passed 2024, we come home, we bury him, we spend the summer here. And we're like, you know what? We just need to go ahead and move, because the plans that we have to build up like family land, to really leave legacy here through our nonprofit, just different things, is better if we're here. So that was the driving factor that just finally made us push. Then when we got back to America, we were actually living in the Atlanta area, and the house we were renting, the owner was selling it. So we had to move. We had no choice. So my mom and sister were like, well, we're going to move to Guyana regardless. I actually was going to stay in Atlanta probably another 3 years, 4 years, and then move with my son just to do some business things and be bicontinental. When I started looking at the cost of living and comparing line by line, I was like, let me go ahead and move, because what am I really doing? If I'm not going to stay in Georgia and I'm going to move back to Virginia, I might as well move to Guyana, because all I'm going to do is just be spending money moving here, moving there. So that was the push that made me move, and I'm glad I did. All other reasons why I moved is I wanted my son to grow up in the culture. So going back to what I had said about my parents wanting me and my siblings to, well, me and my sister right before me, to come and live in Guyana as youth, we didn't get that opportunity. And so I feel like even though I was raised in the culture, I didn't get that hands-on immersion type of experience. Whereas my son, it's like, he's the first in our immediate family to be second-generation American. So I didn't want him to lose the culture and be like, oh yeah, my grandparents were Guyanese, but I don't really know much about it. So that was also a driving factor for him to come live here, soak in the culture, be immersed in it, grow up near cousins, aunties, and so on and so forth. Those were the two driving factors for me.
My deepest condolences, because 2024 is not that long ago.
Thank you.
So as we're talking about that, was it a difficult transition? I know it came from a period of loss, and then you sort of made that transition to go from the United States to live in Guyana full time.
Yes and no. It was difficult as far as logistics because you never really know a place until you live there. It's like, as we say, come see me and come stay with me are two different things. So you don't really know until you're there. You have no choice but to stay. But it wasn't a shock or a hard adjustment as far as like just the day-to-day stuff. Because I had come here so many times growing up. My son had come as a baby and a toddler and a couple times. So I kind of knew the run of things. I knew to expect the blackouts. I knew to expect, the animals walking down the street. I knew to expect, when you go to the ministry, it might take a little while before you get an answer on things. Like, so those things didn't bother me. But I think it was just like realizing like, oh wow, I actually am spending a lot of money just on getting my money, like the fees to transfer back and forth, or just how labor intensive life can be. Like I walk everywhere and it's hot and I wash by hand. So it's just little things like that. It's like, oh yeah, this is different, but I would say for the most part, on a scale of 1 to 10, my adjustment ease was like a 7.5, 8. It wasn't too bad.
What felt easy or what felt challenging in that transition?
Challenging, I would say, would be trustworthy people that are available. Guyana's laid back, but people are busy though. And it's like the schedule is so tight because things close so early. So like certain things I wouldn't necessarily want any and everybody to come and do for me or to run that errand for me. So when I have my trusted sources, I'm like, oh, I gotta work, or maybe they don't have a car, and things like that. And then also just the convenience of it all. In the States, I had my car, we got Uber Eats, you got Walmart delivery. Like, you don't have to worry about all those things. Whereas here it's like, oh gosh, I got to hurry and get to the market before they close, or I'm catching the bus and you got to walk out and then it starts to rain and now you got bags. And it's like those little things that you realize that you just got comfortable with. But the easy stuff for me, at least, was the culture. Whereas I feel like for others, maybe that cultural adjustment would have been a thing, but not so much for me. Maybe in little ways, like, people can very much be opinionated here and they will tell you their thoughts, whether you ask for it or not. Things like that can be a little like, okay, all right, I heard you, but I expected that though. So it could be annoying, but I can't say it was a surprise. So the culture for me was easy. It was more the day-to-day, little minute moments where you're like, yeah, in America, this would have been easier,
Okay. And you said that you all made this plan to move back. How would you say that the cost of living adjustment was?
Yeah, the cost of living in Guyana overall is cheaper. Like, if I had stayed in Atlanta, my bare minimum cost of living would have cost me about $4,000 a month. And that's bare minimum. I'm talking roof, water, lights, internet, car insurance, and a little bit of food. Like, that's it. No luxuries. But in Guyana, me and my son, I spend about $1,000 a month on us. And honestly, that is including recreation. If I really go out a lot and do different things, I'm looking at maybe about $1,500 or so. But if it's a month where I'm not really doing much, I can do less than $1,000. So I know we always hear and have these conversations like, oh, Guyana's getting expensive. And it is. But in the grander scheme of things, it's still more affordable. And I'm self-employed. Been self-employed for 11 years. And I'm able to do it as a single mom. I feel like the 3 areas that are going to get you the most in Guyana is if you have to pay rent. Because rent is getting crazy. I really was blessed with my apartment, where it's located and the cost and how it looks. That is a gold mine. Like, she really could have charged me a lot more. But the rent for sure. Groceries do get high, especially if you eat a lot of meat or you want a lot of like what would be considered fancier products. Like you want certain types of crackers, chips, certain cheeses, things like that. But if you eat a lot of ITO food, fruits, vegetable stuff, it really is not that bad if you go to the open air markets. And then transportation. If you're a taxi person, I'm gonna take that bus every single time unless I'm going to church or something like that. I don't want to get dirty or sweaty. But other than that, I wouldn't say it's too bad. Internet's good, water's affordable, power isn't bad compared to the U.S. So as long as you live within your means and you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses, you'll be good. But I do understand that, yes, cost of living has increased compared to what it used to be back in the day.
Since we're on that topic, how would you say the quality of life is in Guyana versus here in the U.S.?
For me, I would say my quality of life is better, but I also acknowledge the fact that I'm speaking from a place of privilege. Being a dual citizen, making U.S. money, all my clients are overseas. So I'm coming from a different angle, and I don't want to be obtuse to the struggles of the local people that do not have dual citizenship or don't have access to opportunities that I would have being a dual citizen, So for the average person, life is not terrible compared to what it used to be, maybe like as far as opportunities and stuff, but there's still room for improvement. Wages here need to increase and all those things. But as far as for me, I can say the quality of life is better because I have more work-life balance. I don't have to hustle as hard as I did in the US just to survive. I'm getting access to better foods. And trust me, I don't have the best diet. I could definitely improve. Trust me, I could definitely improve, but my health has improved just off of the fact that I have farm-to-table foods easily accessible to me, and that's a way of life here. So those things are considered luxuries in the US, like how I can literally get fruits and vegetables and even meats from someone's backyard here, and they drop it off to me or whatever. That would be like pretty much near impossible in the States. So if you do get that, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg, versus here it's like, oh yeah, like this is fresh eggs off the farm, or this is fresh greens or whatever. And just having access to sunlight, things like vitamin D, walking, like these are things we take for granted in the States, so we just don't get to do. So in my first year here, I lost a little over 40 pounds, and I didn't do anything spectacular. Because I went to the doctor, I had like a leg infection, so I had to go to the doctor for that. They took my vitals, and I was like actually surprised because I had literally just had like a soda and ice cream the day before, and my blood sugar and everything was like really good. I was like, wow, this is great, So for me, cost of living, health, work-life balance and stuff, that's how I rank quality of life for me, because I come from having to work sun up to sundown, still don't have enough, not eating the right foods, being severely overweight, tired, so the fact that that's not my life anymore, I would say quality of life is way better.
Do you feel more Guyanese now that you live in Guyana? If yes, why? If no, why not?
That's a good question. I would say yes, because it kind of goes back to what I was saying, like, you never really know a place till you live there. So it's like coming and visiting on vacation, spending summer breaks, Christmas break, as a kid into my adulthood, sure. Like, I have the experiences, I know what's going on, but it's still different. Now that I'm here and, like, I'm not going back, I really feel Guyanese now. Like, I really know the run of things. I know the ins and outs. So I think it's just having that firsthand experience. And even in my case, being a mom, raising a kid here. Now my child is homeschooled, so he's not going to school every day, but still, like, he's interacting with the local kids and even navigating stuff for him. So all those things help me to feel more Guyanese, because it's like I'm in the society now. I'm contributing to it, I'm taking from it, and so on and so forth.
What does home mean to you?
Home, you're asking really good questions. You're making me dig deep today.
I have that impact on people.
Home, what does home mean to me? Wow, okay, so I would say home is where I feel at peace. Home is where I feel safe. Home is where I feel free. And home is where, truly, it's cliche, but home is where the heart is. And it's always been a part of my heart in Guyana. And especially now that, my mom's older, she's a widow. I think of the things my dad wanted to accomplish and stuff. It's like I'm doing those things, and I'm starting to walk into other areas too that they wanted to do. So I just feel right. Like, I feel like this is where I was supposed to be. I connect with Guyana on a soul level, because people ask me all the time, they're like, are you sure you really like Guyana? Like, like they swear I'm delirious. I'm like, yes, I love it here. Like, no place is perfect. Every place is going to have its pros and cons. But if I had to choose between my life here and in America, I like it here. I'm glad I took the leap of faith and I didn't wait those extra years.
Some people are questioning whether it's a possibility for them to move, but there is this fear of moving to Guyana for people who might be afraid, right? Who is sort of on the younger side, like generational wise. What would you say helped you mentally shift to be okay with that transition, or to want to do it?
So for me, I'm a very data-driven, bottom line type of person. So once I did the line-by-line comparison on my budget and I saw how much I would save by living in Guyana, it was a no-brainer for me. It was like, okay, let's go. Like, what are we waiting on, But also, this was something that I always knew. Like, I always had itchy feet. I always knew I was going to live somewhere else. So for anybody that might be more of that kind of personality, I would say maybe it's just a matter of crunching the numbers. You can't really go off of what just hearsay, like actually sit down and crunch the numbers. But if it's someone who they're generally just scared, like they might fear what people might think, or they don't know what they're going to run into, I will say Guyana is way different than what it used to be. Like, if you were born here and then you moved abroad smaller at some point, it was different back then. You know, we didn't have a lot of those conveniences here. It was just like untouched Caribbean in a way. But now, honestly, there are some times where I forget I'm in Guyana, like, especially if I'm in town or doing certain things. It's like, I'll just be walking around. I'm like, oh yeah, I am in Guyana, you know? So I would say don't let the fear of what people might think or what people might say get you down. And most importantly, do not tell people your plans. Like, there's people to this day, I've been living here 14 months as of this recording, that still don't know I live in Guyana. They don't know where I live. They're just like, where is she? Because I'm like, I don't tell certain people certain things, because when you're moving and you're taking a leap of faith and you're jumping out the boat, people are going to project onto you. They're going to tell, oh my gosh, why would you move to Guyana? It's better in America for this, the healthcare in Guyana this, the jobs that, the economy this, the corruption that. And these things exist, right? But America is not a bed of roses either. So it's like everywhere has its pros and cons. And you just got to know and be true to yourself. Like, why am I doing this at the end of the day? Because nobody can live your life for you. And once you're clear on that and you get down to the heart of the matter, keep it to yourself. Tell maybe one or two trusted friends, wise counsel, and just really, really follow where your heart is leading you. If your heart is leading you to Guyana, it's for a reason. And everybody's story is not the same. Some people moved to Guyana, and yeah, they did hit some hard knocks. I mean, I've had hard knocks. Last year wasn't, bed of roses for me. I definitely went through some tough valleys, but being 14 months in it now, I could see so much progression in my life compared to if I had stayed in America these last 14 months, what it would have looked like. So it's like, you just never know. You never know what's waiting for you on the other side. And worst case scenario, let's say you move and you're like, this is not what I wanted it to be. You can move again. You don't have to stay. You're not a tree. You can get up, you can move, you can go somewhere else, but just take the chance. I'd rather you get to the end of your life and look back and say, you know what, I did that, I didn't like it, but I changed it, than to be like, what if I had done it? What if I had went, So just take the leap of faith.
Appreciate that. So you're first generation American, your son is second generation. For people who were born in the United States, if they have the general curiosity, what would you say to them?
Come to Guyana. Guyana has a way of sucking people in, though. So just be prepared that when you come, you're going to want to come again and again and again. So get your budget up, because you're going to be booking a lot of flights to Guyana. Most times when people come, they don't know what to expect, but Guyana just has this way about it. It's like you really can't even put it into words, but it's the essence of Guyana. It's the roosters crowing in the morning. It's the music when you're driving down the street. It's the soul of the people. Yes, they can be opinionated. Yes, they can, be wrong and strong or whatever, or just very assertive, but they're loving people. Like, loving. When they care, they care. And I can say that from experience, because when I first moved, for 2 months, my son and I had to walk and buy food. I didn't have a stove. I didn't have a fridge. I didn't have nothing. And there were some days where, I'm going to keep it honest, I couldn't afford to feed us both. And it was my landlady and her brother that fed us. Like, you need food? We got extra food. That's Guyana. Like, it's family. They love you. They care for you. They're going to make sure you're good. They're going to look out for you. Even the scrapes on the corner look out for me. So They know when they don't see me. They're like, we haven't seen you in 2 months, mommy. They always call me mommy, because when you see me, you see my son. And they're like, we haven't seen you in 2 months, when I was away for the summer, or it's been a week. Are you cool? And I'm like, yeah, I was sick, or I was at my mom's house. Or they're like, oh, okay. Like, so that's the essence of Guyana. And the fact that it's not super commercialized yet, it just holds a special place, because it's like, yes, we have development. You'll come here, you'll get to experience the things, but you'll also get that untapped Caribbean that you don't get in a lot of places that are more commercialized and super touristy. So come to Guyana, and there's lots of opportunity too. If you come and you're like, maybe I want to start a business, or I want to do this or that, they're willing to back you. Like, they honestly are. The government and these agencies and stuff, they're willing to back you. So, whatever you're looking for, come to Guyana and check it out.
Amazing. I know you mentioned that your dad's from New Amsterdam. What Berbician thing have you done? Have you gone to a Kwekwe since you've been there?
I have not been to a Quakeray yet, and I'm so upset about that. I got invited to one, and I couldn't make it because of scheduling conflicts. But I have spent time in Berbice twice since I moved. Berbice is like 2 hours from me, and the transportation be costly for the day, but they do stay with you. But I've been to Rosignol, though. I didn't cross the bridge, but I've been to Rosignol a few times. And I haven't done Linden Town Week. Now, that is what I want to do. It's coming up next month. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but Linden Town Week is a vibe from what I hear. So definitely looking forward to going to that, if not this year, next year. And then there's just other stuff that goes on in Berbice that I want to attend. So I know I'm supposed to be going in May. Maybe I can find something to do around there because I do want to show some things. And I do want to explore Berbice more because I love Berbice. Berbice is like, it's just so different. Like, it is more quiet for those that might not have been there. It is more quiet and stuff, but it's very nice. It's very, like, it's countryside, but it's just, they have their own things going on. So, yeah, I will be exploring Berbice more.
Well, I love that you're a Berbician. Whether you claim it or not, you're a Berbician because that's from there and that's it. What kind of events should people be keeping on their radar if they're coming into Guyana for summer, for example?
August is when things start to pick back up again around emancipation and things like that. So I'll definitely be keeping an ear to the street and posting as much as possible. But the big to-do right now, outside of Easter, definitely the Carnival Week, May 20th to 26th.
I love that you are teaching us about what to do when we come to Guyana. So what is your closing words as someone who has moved to Guyana from the United States?
Yeah, I would say come home. Come home. I know, what was it? I think it was 2019. Ghana had the year of the return, and everybody just started really taking a look at Ghana, even down to their ancestry and stuff. And now it's a thing. Every December, people are rushing down the debt to December, getting their citizenship and stuff. Come home. If you have roots to Guyana, first of all, get what's rightfully yours. You're entitled to citizenship through descent as long as you have at least one Guyanese-born parent. Get your citizenship papers. If you have children, get them naturalized. Get your land. You can apply for land through the housing ministry. Get your passport. Get all these things. Get yourself established because at the end of the day, don't leave what's rightfully yours on the table. Laws change. Things change. Get in the door while you can. And then secondly, it's our country. It's our land. If our ancestors didn't build it up, we wouldn't be where we are today. So I understand sometimes you move places for opportunity and stuff, but don't forget your roots because that's ultimately in you. Like that's part of what made you who you are, So don't forget that. Ingrain that in your children in some way, shape, or form. If you don't have kids, make sure, and maybe your spouse isn't Guyanese, take your spouse to Guyana. Like, don't forget about Guyana because while it's developing and other people are taking advantage, don't be on the outside looking in, and that's your birthright. So go to Guyana, invest, have a time. If you haven't been, visit, check it out, and see how you can contribute. They're literally waiting for people to come. So see how you can contribute and even change the trajectory of your family and your bloodline.
I hope Ministry of Tourism bring you on because you convinced me that I need to bring my son, and he needs his land.
Listen, you heard it here first.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your light with me. I really appreciate it. Before you go, what's the name of the non-for-profit if it's public and people could contribute to it, if you're comfortable with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So our family nonprofit is the Durant Family Fulfillment Group. Durant, like Kevin Durant. No relation, just, saying that for familiarity. So we do have a website under DurantFamilyFulfillmentGroup.com. Right now, all of our efforts are on the East Coast. We help the elderly and young children. So we do a backpack drive every August, September. Last year, we gave 60 backpacks to kids in Buxton, and we partnered with the local Methodist church. And then for the elderly, we particularly focusing on Christmas. We give them baskets filled with food, wine, like everything to kind of take them through for a month or two. And then we also would give kids gifts as well, and try to do a Christmas party if we can. Those are our two big initiatives, but we're really trying to take it up to the next level. So any support is appreciated, whether it's on a one-time basis, ongoing basis, whether it's sending goods, hands on deck if you're in Guyana or overseas, we would really appreciate it.
I am so grateful for your time, and like I said before, your light and just the energy you brought to the conversation. So thank you.
Thank you so much. This was fun.